Hi, my name is Veronique Cormier. I am the founder of Leafy Gains protein cookies. I went vegan 4 years ago. As a kid, never really felt right to me. Like I never wanted to eat meat. I always loved fruits and vegetables, and my parents were always like, you need to eat protein. I've always considered myself like an empath, and I think like that kind of like I could feel like the pain and suffering, and like I didn't really know it like back then. And then like 4 years ago, like my friend had a few friends that were vegan, and like kind of like got me asking questions and stuff like that. And everything about it felt right to me. And yeah, I went plant-based, like vegan for ethical reasons, and never looked back.
As far as like ethical reasons, when you go vegan for ethical reasons, don't you worry about maybe the health side of stuff a little bit?
So for me, it was like never really about the health reasons necessarily, because I like struggled with food and like body image for like a while. So like that was one of the reasons why I was like, I don't want this to like trigger me in a way as like this is a diet, right? So it was always like, I'm gonna eat whatever I want, but vegan within reason.
I like that you're saying this. I just started reading a book called Intuitive Eating.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Or at least the concept?
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're cognizant of the psychological aspect of this and how it could potentially result in maybe eating disorder for some people maybe.
Exactly, yeah. So like for me, I come from like a background where I struggled with binge eating disorder that was like fueled from restriction. So I knew that like I never wanted to like fall back into that. Like that started with like diets and restrictions and all of that, right? So I never wanted to be like, I can't eat this, because I know that mindset just leads me to like spiral and binge, and that's more unhealthy to me than, you know, treating yourself to like some vegan cake or whatever you want.
Well, how do you do that and say you're not going to eat animals?
For me, like it's an ethical choice and not like a diet, like I said. So it's like you can eat anything vegan, literally, like the options are endless nowadays. Like anything that you would want, there's a vegan option for now. So I don't see it as a restriction.
I kind of wondered that when I was, reading this book. So it's so cool that you're able to, exemplify being able to do this and not make it restrictive. Do you have any tips there or anything like resource-wise that you use to help you accomplish this?
I find that for myself, it's like seeing food as fuel, and like, you want to get those micronutrients in, of course, but like as long as you're having like your carbs, your fats, your protein, like that's fuel, right? And then like obviously having your fruits and vegetable alongside with that. I think there's room for balance in everything. So like obviously you want to eat your whole food plant-based stuff, but like, if you throw in some like vegan junk food in there, like to supplement your calories, like, that's still a balanced diet. Yeah.
But like resource-wise, did you have any help?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I actually studied in holistic nutrition. So I'm like a registered holistic nutritionist. So I do have like my own
philosophy.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that like for me it was I love the whole food plant-based thing, but I find that like people can take it to the extreme as well, where a lot of people don't stay vegan because they think they have to like do it perfectly, right? They have to be like raw vegan, and then it's not very sustainable for them. So just finding what like works for you is what's best.
So I guess don't be restrictive within the whole vegan
Yes,
diet.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. A lot of the people who claim to have failed, it's like they do all these yo-yo dieting and all these, like you say, restrictive types of eating. And
Yeah.
so now, what does a typical day of eating look like for you?
So, I'm a business owner. I'm pretty busy. I'm on my feet a lot. So, I mean, usually my breakfast looks like one of my protein cookies from my business. Something on the go most days. For lunch, I usually have some like rice, tofu, veggies. I'll have some snacks in there, like, some fruit, some nuts, whatever. And usually supper is a bit more like processed vegan food. That's my balance in there. So I'll have like a Gardein burger or something with some maybe potatoes or some salad or whatever. And like sometimes I'll have some ice cream for dessert. Sometimes I won't. I do follow the intuitive eating, you know, like I eat what I want within reason, but I feel like when you're eating enough calories and fuel in general, like your cravings are not going to be excessive. Like after a while, like if you're eating junk food every single day, you're going to feel gross, right? Just kind of trusting your body of like, you know, like telling you what it wants essentially.
And learning those true hunger signals. Yeah. How do you discern true hunger signals?
So for me, I had a hard time with that when I was like restricting in binging cycle, right? So at that point, like I would never like feel full, it seemed like. That's like why I was binging, right? So when I recovered from that, like I kind of ate when I had mental hunger because I didn't really feel physical hunger ever, really. It was like a strange time, I guess. So I just, anytime I felt like I want food, I ate. And naturally, like just trusting that, like I did restore like my physical hunger cues as well. Like before, like if you would have like put a plate of food in front of me and like having like some left on the plate would have been unheard of. Like I would eat more and I'd be like, I'm gonna stop because this seems like a sensible amount of food, right? But I didn't actually ever really feel full. But then came the day where I was like, from naturally trusting like my mental hunger cues and just going with it, came the days that, you know, I could leave half the plate on the food and be like, I'm full, I'm satisfied with that. And that was like a big barrier breakthrough, I guess, if you will, as well.
Yeah. You ever heard of the blue zones?
Yeah, I did a bit, yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese, they call it hara hachibu. It's eat until you're 80% full.
For me as an athlete, I find that I have to sometimes, like there's a difference between intuitive eating and intentional eating. And for me, I find I steer more towards intentional eating because otherwise I'll find myself under eating for what I need as an athlete, right?
Yeah. And talk more about your athleticism. What kind of athlete are you?
So I'm a strength athlete. I come from a background of 5 years of powerlifting, and I just recently switched over to Strongman. So I competed this weekend for Strongman. I've only done Strongman for a year now, and I did quite a bit of sports background as well, not really strength-based, but I've done like dance, I did cheerleading for a number of years, so I've always like really liked the competitive side of sports as well, yeah.
Now, did you take away any trophies yesterday, or?
So I got second place, and my teammate Sophie, she got first place, so it was a win for the Plantville team, yeah.
And that's competing against non-vegans, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
How often do you cheat?
I don't. Unless they accidentally mess up my order, which then I'm not very happy about and I send it back.
And what do you think are the biggest reasons why you didn't go vegan sooner?
I guess just the lack of like information of like, this is actually like something you can do and like, you know, you can live like and thrive like on a vegan lifestyle. It's coming like more and more mainstream, but like for a long time was very like frowned upon and people make fun of and like, oh, like.
Could you be with somebody who isn't vegan?
Actually, my boyfriend is not vegan, but I'm working on that one. At home, like he does all our like vegan meal prep. Like he's pretty good about it. Like he's like, I would say 95% vegan at home, and then it's mostly like when we go out to eat, he's not. Yeah. So working on it, but you know, like I like to make a difference where I can, and I try not to be the militant vegan because I find that never helps, but just like the gentle tug I find, like, and just leading by example is like what makes a difference. And then people get curious and they see, oh, you can do this and that and be vegan, like tell me more, right?
What kind of illnesses did you acquire from going vegan?
0.
0?
I don't know, insanity from seeing the rest of the world. Why aren't you vegan? It's great.
Did you experience any physiological, mental, or emotional changes after going vegan?
Yes. So actually, like I noticed that like my recovery in the gym was like way better. Like I was like bouncing back session to session. My strength like went through the roof, and like I didn't need as much like sleep. Like I could like just like wake up more rested, but like with less sleep. So those are probably like the main changes I see, and
I've noticed that too.
yeah.
And it freaks me out because you're supposed to get 7 hours of sleep, they say.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. but I'm doing good. I think I'm getting there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little hard when we're doing stuff like this because it's like these hotels I can't sleep in.
Yeah, no, my sleep's usually pretty good, but hotels, not so much.
And where are we?
We are in New Jersey, in Atlantic City,
Yeah, and why are we here?
for the plant-built and the Mr. America competition.
Yeah, with Vegan Strong Team.
Yes.
Do you have any other major accomplishments like you've achieved this weekend that you want to share?
Basically all of my athletic like accomplishments have been like since I've been vegan, honestly. I got second place at nationals in, I want to say that was in 2020. That was powerlifting. And then that qualified me for the World Championships. So I competed at the IPF World Championships in 2021. I also won nationals last year for Strongman. And then that qualified me for the Arnold's, which is also a world championship in Ohio in March, just recently. And yeah, now I'm here and competing with Plant Built.
Do you ever tiptoe around the word vegan?
It depends with who, I guess. I feel like plant-based is more accepted for some reason, you know?
And how do you define veganism?
Is different than like plant-based in a sense, because like veganism is like the whole lifestyle. It's no leather, like your bath products, your like everything, you know what I mean? And then plant-based is like your diet.
And do you have any like quotes or encouraging words you want to share?
I guess like anybody can be vegan, like, and I would encourage you to like look into it. And if you're curious, like, you know, don't hesitate to reach out to, you know, if you know anyone vegan around you. Like, we're all here to help, and yeah.
Do you have any social media that you want to share with us that we can follow you on?
Sure. So I'm mostly like on Instagram. So my Instagram's @LeafyLifter. It's primarily like my training that I post there. I also have, I kind of branded it. So my protein cookie company is Leafy Gains Protein Cookies, also on Instagram. So.
What kind of ingredients are in that?
They're made out of like applesauce, a blend of pea, hemp, and brown rice protein, coconut flour, flax seeds, and a little bit of organic cane sugar, and then the rest kind of depends on the flavor. And the interesting thing is like 95 to like probably 99% of our clientele is actually not vegan, but they choose the vegan option.
And we can find that online.
Yeah, so my website is like linked in my profile of my Instagram on the Leafy Gains Protein Cookies. It's at leafygains.com. And
is it also available in stores?
not in the US, but anywhere in New Brunswick, yeah.
And do you have plans to bring it here?
I ship here. I just, in stores, I'm not really familiar quite yet with the protocols. I know it's quite complicated even to sell out of province. You need like a federal license, which is very, very expensive. I have my own kitchen, like a class 5 kitchen where I produce to like wholesale. But to get a federal license kitchen is like, you need like over the top kitchen, which that in itself costs thousands and thousands of dollars. So I'm not quite there yet, but eventually I'd like to like expand to the rest of Canada in stores and then hopefully in the US someday.
Did you have any pets as a kid?
Yes.
Do you feel like that might have had a little bit of an influence on this?
Yeah, like I feel like when you make the connection, they're all the same. Like what's the difference between like people freak out, like I don't know if you've ever seen those videos that those vegan activists that like, they're like, oh, like you want to try a sample of like cat meat or whatever?
Elwood's. That's one of the people too.
Yeah,
He's
okay.
in Canada, I think.
Okay.
Elwood's dog meat.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with like all the names, but I follow a bunch of them. And people freak out, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what's different? Like a cow, like, you know, a pig, like they want to live too, you know what I mean? Like, so I think once you make the connection that like they're all sentient beings, they're all the same. Like it's just how like society makes us view like these ones as pets and like these ones as food, like, but once you realize and you make that connection that like it's all the same.
Did you ever see an animal die or experience that?
Yeah, well, my family dog, her name was Sadie. It was a golden retriever, and I had her like since I could remember, I guess, like since I was 3 years old maybe, and then through my teen years. So I kind of like grew up with her, right? So I guess seeing her like pass away was very hard on me and like the rest of my family too, right? It's hard to see that other people can't make that connection. Like even my family are very, very not vegan, but they're like, they consider themselves animal lovers. Like my mom has lots of dogs, and like it was very hard on her, right, when our dog passed away. But you know, maybe someday she will make that connection, right?
Yeah, because I wonder, like, I don't think people genuinely want to hurt others.
No.
And it really is all about making that connection. But obviously we've become desensitized to it. And I heard recently 95% of what people think is the same thing they thought yesterday.
Right.
So anything different, they're afraid of because it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, how do you get your mom or whoever who's been doing this their whole life to really make those connections?
Yeah, and I think some people don't want to make that connection because, like, you know what I mean? Once they make it, they know they have to make what might be a hard choice for them, right?
Yeah.
And like they don't necessarily want that. Or like we said with the vegan activism and stuff, a lot of the people will be like, but no, I am an animal lover, and they'll try to justify, but it's okay because this, or like they're trying to like justify that they're not making like harm. They don't want to like be a bad person or whatever per se, like.
It's got to be a very difficult position to be in.
Yeah.
Because there's so many of us, and we're growing and growing and putting it in their face big time. And that's what's so cool about Vegan Strong is like shattering all those myths, you know?
Yeah.
What do you have next? What's coming up next?
A little bit of an off season. I'm just doing like a deadlift only competition in November for fun. Just a small little competition, and then next year Nationals is actually in my hometown, so that's going to be the big focus. I won it last year, so I'm hopefully I can win it again, and I'm going to train hard for it, and hopefully that will qualify me for like the Arnold's and OSG, so those are like international competitions. So
you're amazing.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate your time, and I guess we'll call it a wrap. And
yeah.
Decided to maybe get out there and support the kettlebell.
Yes, yeah, it's super cool. Yeah, it's fun watching all the different sports.